All right, at this time, we will call to order the City of Kenai Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for October 12th, 2022. Will you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item A2, roll call, please.
Chair Twait.
Here.
Commissioner Askin.
Here.
Commissioner Woodard.
Here.
Vice Chair Dothett.
Here.
Commissioner Fikes.
Here.
Commissioner Greenberg.
Here.
Commissioner Halstead.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Item A3, agenda approval. Commissioner Halstead.
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
And a second.
I'll second.
Second, any objections? Seeing none, the agenda is approved. Item A4, consent agenda. Commissioner Halstead.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
And a second.
I'll second.
Second, any objections? Seeing none, the consent agenda is approved. Item C, scheduled public comment. We have none. Item D, unscheduled public comment. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak to anything on the agenda, or that's not on the agenda? I think we're good. Item E, consideration of plats. F, public hearings. And G, unfinished business. We have nothing tonight. Item H, new business. We have one item for action approval, approving a time extension for the finalization of Beaver Loop Acres, addition number 2, preliminary plat. Can I get a motion? Vice Chair Dothett. Oh, Commissioner Askin.
I move that we approve a time extension for finalization of Beaver Loop Acres Edition Number 2 preliminary plat.
All right, second?
I will second that.
All right, staff report. And welcome.
Thank you. So before you is a time extension request for a preliminary plat that was approved back in October 2020. So before you, they typically expire within 2 years. And the applicant is now asking for an extension to finalize the preliminary plat. Typically, you will see that the borough will not approve it until they receive approval from the Planning Commission here. But due to the plat expiring to date, the borough had made an exception and conditioned it. And you see in your packet the notice of decision from the borough. Just a brief overview of the plat itself. It was 2 parcels, and it was subdivided into 7 parcels, and most of the 6 parcels were approximately 1.34 acres, and this was reviewed by your commission twice in 2020. So therefore, this is a standard time extension request, nothing added, no conditions being recommended by staff. And that concludes staff's presentation.
All right, thank you. We have a motion. Any discussion? Seems pretty straightforward. Kind of a housekeeping thing. All right, if there is no comments or any questions of staff, we will go to the vote, please.
Commissioner Askin.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodard.
Yes.
Vice Chair Dothett.
Yes.
Commissioner Fikes.
Yes.
Commissioner Greenberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Halstead.
Yes.
Chair Twait.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Under item I, pending items, we have none. Takes us to J, reports. J1 is City Council. Vice Mayor Glendenning.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Twait. On the October the 5th, we had a meeting here in Chambers at 6 p.m. And we had scheduled public comment. The Kenai Police Department accreditation. It was Scott Hayes, Executive Director of the Oregon Accreditation Alliance. And in a nutshell, if you have police department accreditation, this does several things. One, it attracts more qualified people because they know you have a serious department and you're willing to have high standards. And it helps with your city insurance. Plus you get the benefit of more training and access to training. So we benefited from that presentation, and there were quite a few questions, and we were well educated by that. For public hearings, we had ordinance number 3317-2022, increasing estimated revenues and appropriations in the airport fund appropriating funds in the airport snow removal equipment capital fund project for purchase of a snow removal equipment attachments and installation of a gate. This passed 7-0. One unique thing about the installation of this gate is it slides back and forth and actually will allow more room for snow deposit rather than swinging on a hinge. It runs along the dimensions of the existing fence. I thought that was a neat feature. We passed 7-0 a resolution 2270 authorized changes to the payment terms of the Setnet Drive Street Improvement Special Assessment District. And let's see, in an effort to resolve the remaining delinquent accounts of the district. And in a nutshell, it's the policy of the city is that we want people to succeed, not fail. And arrangements were made to allow these people to continue to pay on their delinquent accounts with dignity. And that's probably the best way to explain it. We passed also 7-0 a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a grant from the Alaska Department of Commerce, Community and Economic Development, Division of Community and Regional Affairs for the Bluff Stabilization Project. This is a sum of money that will, we think, round out our contribution, our percentage contribution to the Bluff project. We're obligated to several millions of dollars. I believe this was $6.5 million. And barring any unknown increases in cost due to inflation or unseen events, this should take care of our obligation. We passed 7-0 a resolution 2022-72 authorizing a budget transfer on the general fund, decreasing city manager contingency, increasing non-dependent on professional services, authorizing a change of purchase order to Larson Engineering and Design for a tower study. There's a communication tower that's outside the public safety, and basically it's been there quite a while. We've spent some money strengthening and stiffening that tower, but we also found that the guy wires that go to its attachment also need attention. So this authorizes that safety feature to be addressed. Under unfinished business, ordinance number 3316, 2022, we amended the Kenai Municipal Code conditional use permit to further clarify roles and responsibilities of applicants, the planning director, and the planning commission in the conditional use process. This meeting was postponed in order for you folks to be able to weigh in on it, and it passed 4-3. We had testimony from several members of this commission, which helped inform members of the council, and we had a good discussion. And I firmly believe that going forward, it will give some structure, especially to the new people, and encourage them to be students of the things that are available in land use tables and code, in all the comprehensive plan, all the previous decisions, things that are available to you for study, and generally our planning director in their reports will bring these out and highlight it, and will give you some idea of what to consider. With the planning director, you can accept it, modify it, ignore it, okay? But at least you listen to it. And that's all we're asking. And we're asking you to be good students. There's plenty of information in our Title 14. And just inside baseball, maybe there's some features, some things that we could maybe roll up our sleeves once we get the new group established, and see what we can do to improve our land use, see what we can do to improve our zoning, see what we can do to make things easier for communication between citizens and the city, or amongst the citizens of the town when a new development is going in, or perhaps there's a change in emphasis for a particular subdivision or piece of property. I think it's a useful tool, but then I sponsored it, so I'll say that. We had Resolution 2022-64 approving the renewal of a lease utilizing non-standard lease form on airport reserve plans between the City of Kenai and the Federal Aviation Administration for automated flight service and satellite communication network facilities 7A fixed base operation subdivision number 5. And this passed unanimously. The FAA automated flight station, of course, is fundamental and fundamental to the success of our airport and integral to its safety, the safety of its users, and to the general aviation community. And so we passed. I believe it was postponed just because of of an informational thing, a technical thing. There was no controversy, no kerfuffle. This was just pro forma. And what did we do here? Our city manager is not going to renew his contract. His contract is into January of this next year, and so there's a subcommittee comprised of the mayor, myself, and James Baston, a council member. And what we did is we sat down and just laid out, put sideboards on the basically the call, the invite for someone to apply, and looked at previous applications parameters and looked at maybe qualifications, but most importantly, Joe would want to know how much money it's going to pay, and so we did that, and so that's in the works now, and of course I think I have one more meeting, and then I'm going to go on to my vice mayor reward, and some young people, new people, interested people, vibrant people, energetic people, knowledgeable people, intelligent people will take my place. And
Alex.
oh my goodness! Oh, see what you're up against. Okay, don't. I mean, just this is okay. Don't judge us by this now so far. We're trying out for him. See, so we put on your best face. He wants to join us. And so anyway, having said that, this finishes up. I've reached the height of my incompetence, and so I'm going to fade into the sunset. Old counselors never die; they just fade away, or maybe pop up as a planning and zoning commissioner. But I see we have some young people here that are interested. And if there's two, then I'll just go. What was I going to do? I was going to work on my coin collection, and then perhaps search out my next ex-wife. I may do something like that. So I have very very indistinct plans. But it's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys, and I learned a lot, and I'll continue to follow with interest your progress and the business of the city. And thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Askin.
Jim, Mr. Glendenning, I heard that the Bluff Erosion project does not include Toyon Way. Is that correct?
Toyon Way, I mean over down Forest, down
Right.
that way. That is true. Yeah, the Bluff Erosion project just goes basically from where the Vintage Point is, and it's the flat area where we have the Pumpkin Fest, and then there's a change in profile. It goes to the cannery. It goes from that point down to we used to call it No Name Creek, right below the Hanson Park, and that's where it stops. The other no. We are able to get the approval of the Corps of Engineers because of the cultural, well, I was going to say inheritance that we're preserving. People have lived there for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's important that that's there. Also, the economic investment that's there, and they score it. it's just kind of a cold-hearted thing. Okay, you get so many points for this and that, and the paved street, and the street lights, and utilities, and so we came in right on the edge of their scoring, and it was decided that they would just do those few miles, and so but Toyon, no, I don't know how else to say it.
Okay, because I know that they've lost a lot of
Oh, they have.
a lot of land, and
Yeah.
and when I was campaigning, I got that a lot.
When I campaign, every time I campaigned, that was also,
Yeah.
and we just, I mean, it goes from there all the way up to point possession. We're losing it, and there's perhaps other places in Alaska that remote villages and stuff that deserve some consideration too. But if we're able to have a successful bluff erosion project, this will stabilize the economic heart of our traditional city of Kenai, and we'll be able to plan, our development, what we're going to do in this area, rather than just pick up and move, God forbid, towards Soldotna. See, he gets violent whenever I mention that word. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Anyone else? Commissioner Greenberg?
So, is the status of the Bluff Erosion project? I know there's like 100,000 phases to it or whatever, but what phase are we in now, and what phases are coming?
Well, we are going to we're going to have our final engineering determination. We'll have scope. This should happen in March of this year, and hopefully next year we'll be constructing. Yeah.
I believe they were talking like as early as hoping to maybe see something happen construction-wise as early as June, possibly.
It very well could be. It just depends on availability of contractors, equipment, and all of this. But it's close. It's imminent. But it's starting too late for me to get my name on a plaque. So you'll just have to remember me in your heart.
That's what they make spray paint for.
I know.
Vice Chair Dothett? Oh. No?
I just never turned it on.
All right.
Chairman Twait, do you have anything to say?
Well, I would love to say, opine about how bad we're going to miss you, but,
That's a lie.
I'll save that for a private thing. I don't want to choke myself up. No. But again, I would like to thank you for all your years of service, and you've been very comfortable sitting right next to me here. I appreciate that, and maybe we'll see you up here again.
Well, you never know. I'm a bad penny. I always turn up. If I can help, I will. And if there's, everybody's younger than I am, so a young person wants to do this, I wholeheartedly encourage them to do it. And this is where the rubber meets the road. Title 29 in the Constitution of the State of Alaska calls out planning and zoning commissions and gives them a special privilege, if we can use that word again, a special place in the determination of the quality and character of each political organization they serve.
All right. We will move on to item J2, Borough Planning, to a person who's not going to be leaving us, Commissioner Fikes.
Yes, alrighty then. I won't bore you with those. All right, let's go with Monday, October 10th. We assembled to a short and sweet hearing, and we did a application in the Lakeview Terrace subdivision, and that was for a building setback encroachment, and much to everybody's delight, they actually asked us before construction was taking place. So it was a unique layout and in a unique situation, so it was a very nice presentation in the sense I've seen, like I say, others that have come after the fact in the 60s and 70s and changed hands many a times, and people have come before us for various reasons. So it was kind of a unique change to have that happen. So we approved that and moved on to our right-of-way vacation in the Clam Gulch area, and that one was ultimately approved. That was for a utility easement. And then we went on to a special presentation by the River Center. It was actually a pretty informative, short and concise of why are we here, who do we serve, and how can we help those around us and educate those in between. And so actually, yeah, it was a really pretty informative discussion of what they do, where they're located, and what kind of permitting processes they do, and how they reach out to those of us in the community that are looking to develop, purchase, or build anywhere in and around the many rivers and streams that we have in our community. So, yeah, that was a really nice presentation. And then we had some discussion. Again, there's a lot of changes also at the borough, and so Max Best has stepped in as chief of staff instead of just as a retiree out of consultant. He has stepped in to be the chief of staff now. And Mr. Navarre has also stepped in to assist in the absence of our borough mayor. So until such time as that can be resolved, those two individuals with past experience are assisting and guiding the department down the lanes. Yeah, so, yeah, that was kind of all we had to discuss. Don't think so. 27 return on postcards. Riverbank residents. Oh, there was the Funny River had just recently came up with a advisory board that was renewed. There was one that was sunsetting. I think that was on K Beach, and at that same time, Funny River was developing theirs. And to everybody's quite surprise, as they sent out a "Hey, we are here and we are around and we are interested," they had a 20% return on their postcard notification that there is now an advisory board in the Funny River area. So that was kind of nice to everybody's surprise to have that kind of active participation and engagement, because that kind of helps us when we have so much on the docket to have these individual committees, if you will, of those in that particular resident, that little boundary there. So it's to bounce those things off and kind of help us, not necessarily rubber stamp it per se, but to help us streamline some of their concerns, and then have us hit on the bullet points and see how we can address those in the findings and stuff. So yeah, that was pretty helpful.
I have a question.
And then we wrapped up the night. And that was all we had.
I have a question.
Vice Mayor Glendenning has a question.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
In that vacation of the right of way and whatnot, was that a Glendenning subdivision?
I was not going to mention that because I didn't know that. Yes, sir, it was.
Well, thank you for your considered opinion. And whenever we turn in a plat, we always leave one thing wrong, so they don't think that they missed anything and feel bad about it, and then look for the stuff that's really missing. So anyway, we'll fix it for you. And thank you. And you asked a very good question about the fellow's name, and it was on the record, and I was wondering how to pronounce it too. So you did well.
Yeah, he's referencing one that came before us that the director and staff had said that they were not going to approve, and so we had also looked into that and said, well, there is reason possibly. However, the applicant stepped forward and said, well, the only person is the utility company that's objecting is ACS, I believe it was, and they said, I have since gotten approval from ACS, and they will do this, this, and this, and we've reached a compromise, and we have no further concerns. And so all I just asked is if we could have that individual's name as a matter of record, so that it wasn't just pulled out of a hat, to see if we can slip it in here and say that, yeah, I talked to so-and-so and they said it was okay. So I left that part of the detail out, I guess.
I just love happy endings.
All right, any other questions? Any other questions for Commissioner Fikes? All right, we will move on then to administration. Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you, Chair Twait. I just want to say I'm happy to announce that we're fully staffed, the two of us. Carrie Baroni is our planning assistant. She started a week before me. My first day here was September 19th. So I'm in week 4. I am working on a lot of projects because I've been tasked with quite a few things that I know your commission has been wanting to move forward on. So you can anticipate in the near future some work sessions on planning process and really understanding what staff is doing and what your role is in it as well. So I have conditional use permits, home occupation, as I'm aware of your August meeting. There's quite a discussion on that. And along the lines, even conditions of approval. If there's something that staff recommends and you may not agree with it, how do you go about on the fly creating a condition of approval that we can really enforce and ensure that what you approve here is implemented outside this chamber? In addition to, I know that you in the past have gotten PowerPoint slides. I plan to continue that for you, so you can anticipate and expect that from me. I'm working on a special project with the land management plan being finalized, I think in June of this year. I'm working on digitizing it into a GIS map, making it more user-friendly. So Carrie and I are working on that. Hopefully before Paul leaves, we can see that implemented. And lastly, we as staff have recently sent out reminders for the CUP annual reports. They can submit those annual reports as early as October 1st, and so we're just trying to get ahead of the game. And I started tallying up measurable outcomes of what we do as planning and zoning by the numbers. So right now we have 11 active applications, and these include land leases as well, and we have 10 active code enforcement cases. So you can start seeing and expecting numbers and getting a clear understanding of what we do as a department. And that's all I have.
Very good. Any questions? Vice Mayor, Vice Mayor.
Vice Mayor, let's not go
Right
there.
on up, isn't he? Vice Chair Doffett.
Well, who knows?
No, we know. Question on the fully staffed with 2. I know I've mentioned it to some other city staff about possibility of getting at least a part-time enforcement person. Had there any more talk of looking to hire for something like that, an enforcement person for different codes and going around the city about that?
That is a very good question, Vice Chair. I am not aware of it. I think by having these numbers, it really gives a really good time frame of how much staff right now is spending on code enforcement, and I'm hoping to advocate for that. That was something that Max had suggested to the city manager, but I haven't heard further discussions about whether that's being considered or not.
Thank you. It might be something we have to take up with the new city manager, but hopefully we can, I highly encourage us to be able to hopefully push for that. I think it'd be valuable for the department for sure.
Wasn't there some talk about the newest council members having to go do that on their free time?
I was pretty sure it was planning and zoning.
Oh, yeah. Maybe not. All right. Any other questions of staff? Commissioner Halstead.
I would just like to echo Mr. Doffett's comment on that is I know it's always been an issue with enforcement in the past, just being spread too thin with some of the other job responsibilities that you have. And if there's anything that we could do to advocate for an additional staff member, I'd love to, help rally that cause. So I know enforcement is a big issue that we all kind of stress out about when people come in and say, we've got these rules for, noise complaints and whatever, but there's just no one that has a chance to catch it in time. So an additional staff person would probably be a welcome addition, if we could advocate for that in any ways.
Along those same lines, I do know there was talk of COVID funding monies still being tossed around out there, but no real landing spot. I don't know if that's still an option of a revenue stream. And then I know there was also the talk of a grant writer somehow under our wings. If that individual is still participating with the city, if either one of those are resources to tap into, that might be of benefit.
Thank you for those comments and background. So I will let you know that I am changing a lot of the process that I have an understanding that has not worked well when it comes to code enforcement. I have worked in other jurisdictions closely with code enforcement. So something as simple as our current process, which I just changed a couple days ago, is we send out letters that aren't necessarily ever open, letters that are being returned. And I myself can attest that I don't open all the letters I receive. So I changed it to a half sheet, a courtesy notice, in hopes that they will receive it, they'll see it, they'll get exactly what they need up front. There is no opening a letter, reading it, and trying to figure it out. I simplified the process, And since I've been here for week 4, we have closed 12 cases. And so we are dedicating time out of the week, twice a week at a minimum, 1 day out of a week, depending on our time, to go out and do site inspection. And we're doing our best to follow up. And we've seen success that people here, once they acknowledge it, they're willing to work with us. And we're trying to do our best and be accommodating to that. So I hope that necessary we may not need it. But if we did, I'll be sure to let you know to get your support. Thank you.
Good news, huh? All right, anyone else? All right, thank you. Additional public comments? Have anything you want to come forward and say? Or are you good? I'm good. All right. Great job. All right, no informational items. Our next meeting is October 26th. Anyone of you other 4 not planning on being here? Vice Chair Dothett, you're not going to be here? You might be, in some capacity. Who knows?
Well, I'll be in Arizona, so it's gonna be really hard.
Oh, it won't happen then. Okay. Commissioners' comments and questions. Let's start down with Commissioner Woodard.
Congratulations to the wins and the retirements.
Commissioner Askin.
Just a point of interest, remember when we denied the permit for 1005 Angler Drive? I was told by the neighbors there that was run by the group that was going to run it, that it was run anyway. So I don't know if that's something that we need to follow up on, but I just wanted you to know that it was kind of ignored that we denied the permit.
Well, I can speak to that a little bit too. I looked into that same claim, and it was run on a monthly lease basis, is how they got around it.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, congratulations, Alex, and congratulations, Mr. Glendenning, with your coin collection. I can't help you with the ex-wife part, but.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Jeff said he'd be my wingman, so we'll see how that works out.
Then you might have some luck.
Yeah, we'll have fun at least.
That's all I got.
All right, Commissioner Halstead.
Well, just wanted to say that it's been a great privilege to work with Ms. Askin and Mr. Dothett. I think you're both very strong advocates for the city of Kenai, and I think that both of you guys will be great additions to the city council. So I look forward to what you guys bring to the table, and I think you guys are very well fit for the job, and good things are going to come from it. And Mr. Glendenning, happy stepping down day. Hope you get to sleep in.
Yep, happy trails to you also.
And yeah, thanks for the rest of the group for sticking around. So this is a great opportunity to serve our community, and I think anyone that's looking forward to being a part of this team is they're going to have a good time with it just as much as we do. So plus free candy, free bowls of candy. So that's it for me.
Yeah, there's the little look behind the curtain. We get candy up here, so that's it. So, Commissioner Greenberg.
Congratulations to our new council members. That's a good job. Sure you'll represent us well. Congratulations to our new planner. And Jim, congratulations to you for, I don't know what we'll do without you.
We can just watch reruns.
We can do that.
Yeah, we're on video.
Commissioner Fikes.
A lot of the above, and yes, Jim, happy retirement, but I'm absolutely sure if we don't see you in person, we'll hear you in Zoom land now, so we will be looking for that phone call in.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Dothett.
Thank you. This will be definitely my last meeting because I will be in Arizona for the next time we were scheduled to be here. And yeah, I look forward to onward and upward and trying out new things. Congratulations, Ms. Askins, on it too. And thanks, Jim, for all the mentoring along the way. And I look forward to continue to work with you, hopefully. in some aspect. So thanks, everybody. And I'm very excited for the new planning director we have, and I look forward to working with you more as on the council and trying to get some positive changes made. Thank you.
All right, and I guess just to echo kind of the same thing everyone else has said, unfortunately, the planning commission is kind of the minor leagues of council. It seems like we just end up kind of filtering them through at some point in time, which is a good thing. So with that, I guess, like I said, we're looking forward to filling the holes we're going to have and moving forward and doing everything we can with our new planner to continue to make Kenai better than Soldotna. So, and with that, with business complete, the meeting is adjourned.